Welcome to this Leaf Open Farm Sunday Bite-Size webinar. I'm Annabelle Shackleton, Leaf's Open Farm Sunday Manager, and I'm going to be your host here today. And our topic today is publicity and the communications toolkit for everyone doing Open Farm Sunday on the 11th of June this year. And our presenters today, we have Philip Gorringe, who is our Regional Coordinator for the West Midlands over in Herefordshire. We have David Goff, who manages the Open Farm Sunday press office at the agency series. And down in Cornwall, we have Rona Amos, who's done a fantastic presentation about how she's actually implementing the different tools of the communications toolkit. But first, I just wanted to say a few words about the visitors to Open Farm Sunday. Our target audience are families with children aged 3 to 11 years. And we're absolutely delighted with all our host farmers who on the day hand out our visitor survey forms and to all the visitors who complete the survey online as well. It gives us some really rich data and information about how effective Open Farm Sunday is. And as you can see here from the statistics on screen, that the majority of people coming to our events are families with young children 0 to 11 years. And another piece of information that comes from the surveys, we find out how did visitors actually hear about Open Farm Sunday. It's incredible that the majority hear about it through word of mouth, 35%, and then Facebook and social media, which is just so important these days with communications, is there at 29%, our Leaf resources, 13%, and then magazines, newspapers, radio, TV are all other ways that people are finding out about Open Farm Sunday, but not as much as the posters, flyers, Facebook and word of mouth. But it just goes to show how you need to use a range of different tools from the communications toolkit to promote your event. So great. Our first external presentation is by Philip Gorringe over in Herefordshire. Philip, over to you.
Good afternoon, Annabelle. Thank you very much. Well, as a regional coordinator, after questions on health and safety, I think the publicity and how many visitors am I going to get is the next most popular question subject. And that slide, how did you hear about OFS, with word of mouth at the top and newspapers and TV at the bottom, is quite a good illustration of roughly in order how you get the best idea of how many people are coming, i.e. word of mouth gives you the most accurate representation, and national media streams such as TV and newspaper, it's very hard, or can be, to judge how much effect you're having. And obviously in terms of planning your Open Farm Sunday event, it's absolutely crucial to decide how many people you think you want to come, where they're going to come from, and how you're going to deal with them when they've arrived. And in that context, it's quite important to think about the logistics of your farm, how many people you can park their cars, how long they might stay at the event, and what time of day indeed you're going to have the event. We normally break this into sort of small, medium and large, and with small events being sort of up to around 50 people, you can use word of mouth largely, and you can use the Leaf resources that we can provide, which range from the gate banner that you can put up sort of in the weeks preceding the Open Farm Sunday, A4 and 5 posters and flyers and personalised postcards and so forth, and that way you can invite people and have an RSVP sort of effect, so you've got a pretty accurate idea of who's coming and when. We use the time of day as a means of organising, if you like, how many people might come. So if you want less people, then it's quite a good idea to think in terms of perhaps having a morning event, or perhaps to not open for very long. You might hide your entry on the Open Farm Sunday website if you've had enough interest to think that you've got all the people you want coming. That's one way of doing it, but really personal invitations and using your local networks and probably things like the OFS postcard and getting people to interact with you, book on tractor and trailer rides and so on, you'll get a pretty accurate idea of who's coming, and you'll then have the confidence that you're not going to be inundated with people that you're not expecting. For medium and larger events, it pays to start a little bit earlier probably, and to use a drip feed technique, so that you do all the things that you would for a local event, for smaller events, all your local village neighbours and so forth. But for medium and larger events, you need to spread the net a bit further. So you might go to your suppliers networks, your social networks, school, doctors, where you shop and so on, and use the posters to publish it in there. You can go for some of the local media opportunities, parish magazines, things like that, and nowadays local and sort of semi-local websites and organisations such as Mumsnet and so forth can give you good coverage on larger social media type networks. Using Facebook and Twitter is an excellent way of promoting your event, and you can gauge your effect again with the interactions that you get, particularly on Facebook. It's very easy to see what's going on using other websites, and websites of your networks is very good. It also helps, particularly if you're aiming to get a large number of people, you launch your press campaign and then drip feed information as you go along in the weeks preceding the event, so that you can promote individual attractions that are going on at your event sort of as you go along. And the press like that, and the radio media like that sort of thing, it makes their life easy. One of the most important things to do is to write a clear and detailed description on the Open Farm Sunday website. That is probably the easiest reference point for people to work out what they're coming to see, and it's very beneficial both to you and them to make it absolutely clear that they know what they're coming to, and they know what they need to bring or not bring in terms of dogs, picnics, Wellingtons and so forth, so that that description is crucial, and you can edit it. So having written the initial description, as you go along and develop your day, you can edit it to suit the changes that you might make. In all of this, it is worth remembering that you probably ought to think in terms of inviting twice as many people as you want to actually come, and to tailor your promotion to yourself. So it's your story that they're interested in, and the press particularly will go after stories that have individual appeal, because obviously they can't be repeated. The national media campaign will do the general things, but it's your story which is the bit will get you coverage and get you interest.
Fantastic. Thank you very much indeed, Philip. Some great words of advice there and information. So now we're off down to Cornwall to listen to Rona Amos and how she's implementing these communication tools for her Open Farm Sunday event.
Hello, I'm Rona Amos, and we farm right down on the Lizard Point, which is the most southerly point in mainland Britain. We have been here for 3.5 years, but we've done 3 Open Farm Sundays here. But we did do some small Open Farm Sundays where we were farming before, but only small ones. We're in quite an isolated area, but it's a big tourism area. So we get quite a few tourists that come to our Open Farm Sunday, but also local people, but they travel quite a long distance. So we haven't got any big populations anywhere near us. So it's a little bit more challenging getting big numbers. We've built the Open Farm Sunday out. The first year we did about 300 and then 500, and I think this year we did about 800 or so, but we tend to lose count because it all gets a bit hectic. No, so we do our publicity. We start early. When after Christmas I registered with the Open Farm Sunday website, and then first thing I did was set up a Facebook event page. We actually have a farm Facebook page because we do some direct sales, but you don't have to have a farm Facebook page. But though it's quite good fun to show people what's happening. On the Facebook event page, we try and get people that are coming to join in and say they're coming. We try and put something on every couple of weeks, a photograph or something that's going to happen on the farm, or someone that's going to come to the farm event, to try and make some interest. Then closer to the event, I use that Facebook event page and share it on the local village Facebook pages and the local selling sites, so that can be further afield. And that sort of generates a conversation about it. So it's all like a bit more social media, word of mouth type thing, and that seems to generate a lot of interest. And I think quite a lot of people actually come through just seeing it on social media. Then sort of in March time, we start putting our details on any what's on and tourist online guides. Round here there's lots of things, what to do in Cornwall, where to go and things like that, so we try and enter it on anything that's free for the tourist guides. About a month before, we will do a press release, and we'll send that to the local papers and the local radio, and send a photograph to the local papers as well to save them, so that they will feature it before and invite them to come to the event themselves. So we tend to get them, because there's not much happening down here, we tend to get the local press photographer to come to the event, and then they take the pictures which they'll use in further years, and they'll use after it, so there's nice good feeling about it all. I use local radio quite a bit, and not just the BBC but the commercial radios as well. What we've done in the past, we've put it on their what's on, and I think you need to do that about a month before, so they have like a what's on diary, so they'll say what's on today or what's on this week. You need plenty of notice for those ones. We've also linked it with a press release and managed to get it on as a news item, because it's a national event, and they come out with a thing on the Sunday morning, say farms across the country are opening up, and we've got so many in Cornwall that are opening. But also last year we sent a direct email to the lady in the afternoon, Friday afternoon programme. So it's like a chat programme, so I went in and did a live interview with the children and talked about the farm, and that was really nice, and that was a nice interview. It was quite good fun. It's quite an experience, and quite a few people heard that, especially the grannies and grandpas that bring their grandchildren along seem to like that one. We use the resources that Open Farm Sunday provide, and we use their posters, because their posters are really nice and bright and colourful. We pre-print, we use their pre-printed posters, but we make a Word document and fit it on. The first year it's a bit of a fiddle doing it, getting it all lined up, but then once you've done it once, all you need to do is change the details. So then I think I did about 50 posters, and then anywhere I go in the month before, the supermarket, the hairdressers, anywhere in the locality, we put a poster up. We also do the postcards, because they're really nice, and they're nice and bright and colourful. What we do to make those easy, I use a label on the computer, and just 8 labels on the sheet, print them off with our details on, and then we stick the label on the postcard to make it easy, because I've only got a really basic printer, nothing complicated. We take those into the schools, we take them to the brownies, the guides, any youth groups. What I thought we might do this year, about 2 weeks before, I thought I'd go to some of the schools that we don't have a connection with the farm quite so much with, and do some school assemblies about the farm and take them out, and I think that's a good way of getting to the kids and getting them interested, to get their parents to come along. And then of course there's the great banners that the Open Farm Sunday provide with the date on. We put those up round the farm about 3 weeks before, so people walking around. We don't have a lot of traffic past the farm, but we have a lot of walkers, so they tend to see it. Last year we extended that a little bit, and we had a bit of a scarecrow trail around the village during half term, and the scarecrow trail came back to the Open Farm Sunday banner, and it just keeps upping the profile a little bit. Again, something that you can promote all the time about the scarecrows and pictures on the social media. And that's about it, really.
Thank you very much, Rona. That was absolutely fantastic and great to see that you're using all the communication tools available to you. So for our last presentation, we're now off to Reading to David Goff, who manages the Leaf Open Farm Sunday PR account at our press office at Ceres. David, over to you.
Thank you, Annabelle. And for those of you who've not spoken with us yet, we've worked with Leaf for over a decade now on Open Farm Sunday, and honestly have to say it's one of our favourite campaigns of the year. We work with Leaf to first and foremost get the word out there about Open Farm Sunday. You'll see on this slide and on the next slide a number of places that Open Farm Sunday has featured over the past few years, from regional newspapers to regional broadcasts up into the national press and mentions on things like the Chris Evans show. So we get the message out there. We tell people that Open Farm Sunday is happening and that hundreds of farmers are opening their gates. We then break it down to a more regional level and try and match specific farms to specific media. We're already started, it's particularly the national outreach, and are speaking to what we call the consumer magazines, which are your glossy, colourful magazines that you see in the shops, and have already had interest this year from the likes of Delicious Magazine, Great British Food, Land Love and Countryfile Magazine, all of who are interested in featuring Open Farm Sunday as one of the events for people to attend in June, and potentially to put some information in about particular farms as well. Over the last few years, particularly, social media has become a big part of the Open Farm Sunday campaign. You saw on the chart right at the top of the presentation, Annabelle, where Facebook is now. Facebook's the second biggest channel where people hear about Open Farm Sunday. Our own Open Farm Sunday page has 15,000 fans now and is still growing. Those people share our content, share out our message, and tell their friends about Open Farm Sunday. So it really is a good word spreader. We also target out to families, to those audiences that Annabelle showed at the beginning, to make sure we are reaching the right people on social media. Next slide looks at ways that we can help you and help farmers ahead of their Open Farm Sunday event. We already have available a template press release for you to use. We know not all of you are sat there writing press releases on a daily basis like we are, so we've put one together with some gaps and some advice for you to fill in details about your event, what's happening, a little bit of information about the farm to let the media know so that they can let other people know and let people in their area know. That's available from the website farmsunday.org, and we also work each year on a briefing document and FAQs. These go out to farmers and to anyone who is doing an interview about Open Farm Sunday, and just gives a guide to some of the key messages, some of the background information behind Open Farm Sunday and behind Leaf, and also some hints and tips for what to do when being interviewed. We can adapt that to particular media opportunities, and we always say to farmers, if you're doing any interviews, do please get in touch with us at the press office or via Leaf, as we are here to help you, and we can adapt that brief specifically for your interview, and we're happy to talk to media as well and find out if there's any particular questions they're going to ask you as well. We work and link farms up with media, particularly regional. We find we tell people about it for months in advance, and the last couple of weeks they tend to give us a ring and say, that's great, this event you told us about, so what's going on in our area? We'd like to speak to someone. So I would ask everyone, keep your mobile phones on in the run-up to Open Farm Sunday. You may well be getting a call from us to put you in touch with your media. No obligation, of course, but the more we can all get the message out there. Local media love local people, love local businesses, and are there to support you. We'll also promote your events on social media, so join up with us there. The more information we have, the better. You know, we will share out the general information, but if we can share information about particular events, we will. Moving on then, looking at some tips for promoting your farm and promoting your event. Rona's already done a fabulous job of really showing this in action, so just really reiterating some of the points she's made. Have a look at the channels that you've already got available to you. Whether that is your website, whether that's your own social media feeds, use all these as ways to reach people and tell them about the event. If there are any local organisations and local groups that you can work with, let them know. Make use of the resources that LEAF have provided and help them be word spreaders for you. There are a number of websites where you can upload events to. Of course, the Open Farm Sunday event website is one, but lots of places like Mumsnet have local sections for individual farm events. So if you want to get the word out, and of course most of this applies to sort of the medium to large events, but do take a look at what's around and upload your details. As I mentioned before, make sure to link up with us on social media. We're on Twitter at Open Farm Sunday, and we're also on Facebook, which is LEAF Open Farm Sunday. That is our channel where we predominantly talk directly to the public. We also have a closed group for farmers this year where you can share hints and tips. So please, we'd invite as many of you to come and join us there. It's a great place if you've got any further questions that haven't been covered off by the webinars. Make sure to tell us about anything exciting or unique about your event. The media are out there, they're looking for stories, they're looking for facts, they're looking for that little thing different. And these don't always come out in the descriptions on the Farm Sunday website, which feeds through to us. So if there's anything you think the media should know or be interested in, just drop us a line and tell us. If you've got photos, facts, anything quirky, we want to know. Overall, just keep things simple, keep things clear, be prepared. I mentioned the FAQ briefing document we have, so please do ask us if you are looking up for that. You may have seen as well on Rona's presentation earlier, there was a photo consent poster. Every year we get some wonderful spreads after Open Farm Sunday in your local papers about your events, and the media do send their photographers out. So we would invite everyone to download a photo consent form, a photo consent poster, put it up on your entrance, and that way people know there's a chance that the event may be filmed, that photos may be taken, and that way if anyone doesn't want that, they can let an organiser know on the day.
That is fantastic. Thank you very much indeed, David. Some fantastic information there for farmers to think about when promoting their event. So now we're on to our questions. And the first question I've got, David, this one's for you. A farmer said that they've managed to get onto a radio station, but they've never actually been on radio before. Help. What should I do?
Fabulous, great question. Well, first and foremost, don't panic. You know, as I said before, the local media are there to support you and help promote your event. So find out if it's live, find out if it's a pre-record. That will mean that they're doing an interview with you beforehand, and they will put it out on their show. A little less daunting than live, but either way, just make sure you jot down a few of the key messages for yourself. As we mentioned, we have a briefing form and document, so we can help you with that. So write a few things that you want to get across. Ask the person who's doing it. Normally there'll be a researcher or producer ahead. Maybe the presenter themselves will just have a chat with you and say what they want to talk about. So find out what they want to cover off. Don't panic. Be open to it, and remember, you know, it's up to you what you want to say.
Fantastic, thank you, David. And if you're lucky enough to get television cameras to an event, how much time do you think they're gonna take up? Because radio, I'm assuming, is it a faster process than television?
It is, yeah. Television can take a while. What we see on TV for a few seconds can often be a couple of hours filming. So if you do get television down there, obviously if it's something we arrange, we'll work with you. We'll let you know that. But if television do contact you directly, which sometimes they do, just ask the question. Just find out how long they're going to be there, exactly what they need, and make sure that, of course, that you're comfortable with that.
Thank you. Now, Philip, Thinking back again about smaller events, somebody's asked that they've got their gate banners. When should they actually start putting gate banners up? When's a good time to do that?
Well, really, gate banners need to go up in the preceding few weeks to an event, but not really before. The impact that they have is in the immediate time before the event, and so from a local perspective, they are aimed at local people, and for a small event, then you've probably invited people by word of mouth, and so they will help to remind people when it is, where it is, and what's going on.
Thank you. And in actual fact, we've had Rowan over in Wales has actually sent a comment in to say, and don't forget that with some gate banners on major roads, you may actually need to contact your local council to get permission to put a banner up. So if you're thinking of doing that, do get in touch with the local council and you may need to get permission. So that's certainly worthwhile. When do you actually, at your event, Philip, put up the signs to actually get people from main roads to your event?
Well, I would actually put up the direction signs sort of a couple of days before, but no more. Otherwise, it gets confusing. So the banner would go up perhaps a month before, certainly not more. And then the direction route signs, and particularly if you're operating a one-way system, they only need to go up the day before probably, because otherwise you'll get all sorts of chaos if you're not careful.
Fantastic. And something again for you, Philip, that when we've spoken about publicity in the past, you're an absolute advocate for using community networks. Would you like to say a little bit about how you use community networks to publicise your Open Farm Sunday event?
Absolutely. I mean, what we found is that both business-wise and personal-wise, we have a vast number of networks at our disposal, and don't be shy of using them. So whether that's the supermarket, the vets, the land agents, the machinery dealer, the list is endless. And I think Rona mentioned where she gets her hair done. All these things, don't prejudge the network. There will be people in that network who are interested in your story, and so the more the merrier, and particularly for the medium and larger events, you can't really do too much.
Fantastic. Thank you very much indeed, Philip. Well, I think that's all we've got time for questions today. If anyone does have any more questions, please do email in to the Leaf office, openfarmsunday@leafuk.org, and we'll be very happy to get the answers for you. Please don't forget the essentials. Register your event at the website. Do make sure you inform your insurance company. Don't forget about any licenses you may need. If you're planning to have music, a farmer's market, sell food, or you're planning a huge event, you could well need to get licenses, and they all will take some time. So contact your local council early. Please ensure that you check all health and safety requirements and that they're in place beforehand, and complete a risk assessment. So thank you very much indeed to all our presenters today, to Philip Gorringe in Herefordshire, to David Goff in Reading, and to Rona Amos down in Cornwall. Thank you very much indeed for all your words of wisdom and top tips. Our next webinar is focusing on Scotland on the 28th of February, and then we have one on making it memorable, activity ideas and resources on the 10th of March. So we hope you can join us in our future webinars. Thank you very much.